Hello, this is video 4 to explain the rules for naming alkenes and alkynes. Alkene is the family of molecules having the functional group being a carbon-carbon double bond. When you want to name an alkene, you have to find the longest continuous carbon chain again, but it must also be the one that contains the whole double bond. Then you take as a root name the number of carbons and adding the suffix "-ene". For example, looking at this particular compound, although it might look like this is the longest carbon chain has 6 carbons, this is not the carbon chain that contains the carbon-carbon double bond, so we cannot use that. Instead, this here is the carbon chain that contains a double bond and is longest, and we find that it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that this is actually a derivative of pentene. After that, you will notice that we will number the longest carbon chain so that gives the lowest numbers to the carbon-carbon double bonds. In this case, it is 1, so it's pent-1-ene. However, do not forget that there is also an ethyl group here, so actually it is 2-ethyl pent-1-ene. Here are some more examples of alkenes that have been named. You may want to pause here to review the rules and to make sure you understand why these molecules are named the way they are. Again, notice that we give the lowest numbers to the overall groups. When there is 2 of the functional groups, then we call this using the prefixes that indicate the number. For example, there's 2 double bonds here, so this is a diene. And since there's 4 carbons, it's actually butadiene. And we can say that it's 1, 2, 3, where the carbon atoms begin the double bonds. This is all very well, but people in the past have found this very hard to say. So therefore, in such cases, where the suffix begins with a consonant, they add an extra A. So it's not butadiene, it's butadiene. And more specifically, it is buta-1,3-diene. This is the same for the molecule next to it, cyclooctatetraene, because there are 4 carbon double bonds that are spaced 1, 3, 5, 7 as the places where they begin the double bond, and it is in the context of a cyclooctene ring, which is 8 carbons in the ring. Alkynes is the family of compounds having the functional group being a carbon-carbon triple bond. The naming rules are very similar to those of an alkene, that is, you find the longest carbon chain, but it must be the one that also contains a triple bond. And for the root name, the suffix is YNE. So for example, this particular compound, the longest carbon chain has 8 carbons, so it's going to be an octyne. We number the chain so that the triple bond gets the lowest number, so we number from the right-hand side to give it the number 3, where the triple bond begins. There's also a methyl substitution at 6, so the name of this compound is 6-methyl-oct-3-ine. Here are some more examples of alkynes named. Again, you should review the rules to make sure that you understand them. Notice that you may have both a double bond and a triple bond in the molecule. In this particular case, whether you name it from this side or from this side, the numbers are still 1 and 7. In this case, however, we give the double bond number 1 because the double bond, ene, begins with an E, and this comes in the alphabet first before Y, so that this gets the lower number. Again, a molecule can have more than one of the functional groups. In this case, 2 triple bonds makes this molecule a diene. And because there is a consonant before, we add an A to make it easier to say. so that this molecule is 3,3-dimethyl-hexa-1,4-diene. This is the end of video 4. You may want to pause and review. The next video is video 5.